Good afternoon, salam alaikum to everybody. Thank you for coming on a Friday afternoon. It's beautiful outside, so it's hard to be inside a room. And we hope that people will keep coming, so we will start. I first want to introduce myself. I am Professor Yasmin Saikia, and I am a historian in this very school of historical, philosophical, and religious studies. And I hold a chair in peace studies at the Center for the Study of Religion and Conflict, which is in West Hall. But today, we are gathering here for a student presentation of research done under the aegis of the Center of Muslim Experience in the United States. That is an affiliate center of the School of Philosophical, Religious, and Historical, Philosophical, and Religious Studies, acronym being SHIPPERS. I am actually quite honored to be the co-director of this center, along with my colleague and partner, Professor Chad Haynes. We had, with the permission of the university, the provost and the dean, this Center of Muslim Experience, which is the first in the United States, was inaugurated 2 years ago as just a very small effort on our part to document the histories and cultures and experiences of different communities of Muslims living here in the United States who come from all over. And not all histories are histories of new immigrants like several of us here, but they are very long histories of from the beginning of this country when there were people who were brought as enslaved people, mostly from Africa. But those things have changed. So we had a huge number of Muslim slaves who had over the years and centuries lost that religion, refinding it in different kinds of contexts today in the 20th century. And then we have lots of different groups of immigrants. Muslims in the United States represent over 60 nationalities. Or 80 nationalities. So we are a very diverse community, and a diverse community cannot have a single experience. It's a multiple kind of experiences, and those experiences and those impact of those experiences on the Muslim community in the United States connected to a global Muslim world is what we are documenting at the center. The center does a variety of work. It is a research center, mostly trying to research issues of Muslim experiences in the United States and, as I said, connected globally. We have been producing books and peer-reviewed articles on various different topics. More things are coming up. We hold conferences and symposia. But the very important part of the research is not the faculty research, it's really the student research, because we are looking at a new generation of Muslim students in the United States telling us what does it mean to be Muslim in this country. So the student research part is a very strong mainstay of our Center of Muslim Experience. We started last year with one small project with 3 fellows who were doing work in the area of Phoenix. One research project was on Muslim businesses and how they actually contribute to different cultural experiences in Phoenix and bring a global world into the Phoenix society. The other research was on Muslim student organizations right at ASU and trying to document when these organizations started and what has been the impact of these organizations on students. We found out that the first Muslim organization was started by Iranian students in 1983, and since then many, many new organizations have been coming up. And the most recent, I think, organization, again the first of the kind, that was started at ASU, was the Indian Muslim Students Network, in which Atif will tell a little more about it. He is the founding president of this organization. It is an ASU-based organization, which we hope will scale up to a national kind of chapters of the Indian Muslim Students Network. So that's, and then there was one fellow that we had who did research on refugee experiences in Phoenix. So the second year, we decided that we will start by looking at the students themselves and what their experience is as students in the university campuses, starting with ASU. So Atif very kindly took on that charge last summer to start a research on Muslim students' experiences in Arizona State University. That became a larger, big report that we submitted to the dean in order for certain changes on campus, which we hope will be implemented. We decided to scale it up further and look at it nationally and see what is the national experience of Muslim students in different universities and colleges. And that research is done by Muhammad Atif and Mahena. So we have two researchers who will tell us about what they have found out from their 4 or 5 months of research. They will write up a report on this, and we hope this report will be actually published in Al Jazeera. And it will go through many, hopefully, other kinds of outlets. The third part of the center's work is community outreach and creating community understanding between the Muslims and other communities right in Phoenix and hopefully nationally. So we have 3 prongs in our center. The center is research-oriented, for student development, and for community interaction. So that's the background. We are hoping that many more students over time will get involved with the center. We have a lot of work for students, particularly volunteering work for research locally and nationally. So if any one of you here, or if you know any friends who are interested to support the work of the Center of Muslim Experience, please come forward and let us know. We have a sign-up sheet. Please sign up for that, to keep in touch, even though you may not be doing any research. The other quick thing that I want to tell about today, or not about today, but for another program that is coming up only for students, exclusively for student health, is professional training workshop. It will be on 23rd of November, and it will be in this room, right, Khushbu? The professional network? No, it's in West Hall 135. Okay, West Hall is across. So that is for students to develop professional skills, and it will be run by industry professionals. They'll be coming, 5 of them will come, and will help you with different kinds of aspects of becoming career ready. So that is for students. So today we will have these 2 presentations. The way we are going to do it is that our 2 researchers will present their research to us. Khushbu, who is the program coordinator, Khushbu Khalil, who is the program coordinator of the Center of Muslim Experience, will moderate the discussion and the question and answers, and then hopefully we will have a great occasion or kind of just to hang around and to talk. There are pizzas for you. Feel at any time to get up and have a slice of pizza. If you are hungry, it's going to be an hour and a half, so do not hesitate. It's not a formal kind of classroom setting that we're trying to do. We want to get to know one another, and through this research, learn about what we need to know ourselves to be, one, better teachers for a variety of different students that we have, particularly Muslim students, to create awareness about what it means or what is the experience of being a minority community in America, and third, to make the Center of Muslim Experience a more broad-based center, both for ourselves as faculty members and for the students who we are here to serve. So thank you so much, and I'll let Khushbu take over and start the program.
Thank you, Dr. Sekia, for such a wonderful introduction. I think you've covered most of it. I've had the honor of working with Atif and Mahena over the past several weeks on this research, and they have done such a tremendous and wonderful job of bringing their research findings to you today. We are exploring this very important topic: are U.S. colleges and universities Muslim student friendly? We're going to be exploring the topic of Muslim inclusion. What does inclusion even mean? And we're really excited to hear from Atif and Mahena on what they have to say and what their research has to say about this topic. Now, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Atif and Mahena here, and they will give us a presentation, and then we will move into our student panel discussion where we'll get you to engage with some of these questions as well. We're really excited to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Khushbu, for the kind introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for joining us today. We're really happy to see you all. My name is Mahena Mahmood, and I'm accompanied by my co-researcher, Muhammad Atif. Both Atif and I are international Muslim students here at ASU, and we are pursuing graduate level degrees. We are here to share our insights from our research on Muslim students' experience across colleges and universities in the US, as rightly said by Khushbu and Dr. Saikia, and how it comments on the inclusivity on campuses and how it impacts Muslim students' lives and sense of belonging. Our research was conducted with the Center of Muslim Experience in the United States, and we collected survey responses from Muslim students across the country. Our goal is to understand the challenges they face and identify areas where inclusivity could be improved.
I would like to share our story. This project was born out of the need to amplify the voices of Muslim students. Amplify the voices of Muslim students and understand their daily experiences in academic setting in college and universities. It's about giving them a platform and exploring potential solutions that create more welcoming and inclusive environments. This topic is very personal to us, and as we have experienced firsthand how it is to be a Muslim student here in college campuses and universities. Alhamdulillah, for me, my share of experience has been good, and I found people here very accommodating as well. Without taking much time, we'll start with our presentation. Yeah. So let's talk about data, our key demographic insights. Our survey of Muslim students revealed a balanced gender distribution with 54.6% female and 45.4% male respondents. Nationalities were also diverse, with American, Indian, and Pakistani background being the most common. Most respondents, about 77%, were bachelor students, with smaller groups in master's or PhD programs. Students represented 15 colleges across various states in America, emphasizing broad institutional diversity.
So, after reviewing several reports from other surveys and reading articles on the internet, and foremost experiencing it ourselves, we found 3 areas where Muslim students face challenges when they are on campus. Firstly comes the access to halal food. Second is the discrimination that they face. And third comes the religious accommodations on campus. For our research sake, we created a survey for Muslim students asking them various questions about these challenges and their experiences. And now going further, we'll dive into each of these challenges and share the information that we got.
So first challenge was halal food. So access to halal food is still a major concern for Muslim students. And about 34% of students report limited options for halal food on or near campus, which actually affects their daily life. During Ramadan, this becomes even more harder because as 38% of students lack options for suhoor and iftar, often needing to arrange meals on their own. For me personally, like when I was in India, like I just need to wake up like 10 minutes before the Fajr. My mom used to cook food for me. But right now, after coming here, I need to wake up like 1 hour before suhoor and I need to cook my own food. So like limited access to halal foods not only impact religious practices, but also can make students feel left out. By improving this access, campus life could be more supportive and inclusive for Muslim students. So what's the solution? So improving access to halal food options would help meet the dietary needs of Muslim students on campus. Universities could add more halal options in dining hall or create partnership with nearby food vendors to offer discount on halal meals. During Ramadan, which is very important for students, is offering meals for suhoor and iftar in dining facilities would also help students observe their fast without added stress. Small steps like this can greatly improve inclusivity, and it shows a support for diverse religious practices on campus.
Moving further, we have religious challenges on campus. Beyond dietary needs, Muslim students face additional challenges with religious observance on campus. As our survey depicts, 82% have access to a nearby mosque, and 91% have prayer areas. Only 20% have a Muslim chaplain, and 62 aren't sure if this suppose exists. This lack of spiritual guidance can make students feel isolated. Additionally, 59 feel comfortable wearing religious clothing, while 16 feel uncomfortable due to the judgment or unwanted attention, which affects their confidence and the sense of belonging. Now, thinking about the solutions to these issues to make campuses more inclusive, universities could consider adding resources like a Muslim chaplain, which ASU already has, or increasing awareness of existing religious spaces on the campus. Even creating clear guidelines on where to find prayer areas or setting up rooms for meditation or prayer can make students feel more welcomed and supported. This can help create a stronger community where students feel that they are valued.
Let's talk about discrimination. The discrimination on campus is still a big issue, with 47.4% of Muslim students experiencing discrimination in the classroom, often through negative labels or judgment based on appearance. Specifically, 7.9% face discrimination due to their religious clothing, often experiencing like microaggression or stereotypes. In public spaces, 2% of students report verbal or physical harassment, with some even being called a terrorist in class. These experiences harm students' self-esteem and can make them feel isolated from the campus community. So one of the major findings which we found by the survey is that most of the discrimination came from the University of Missouri in Kansas City. This underscores the importance of community inclusivity, especially in regions with smaller Muslim population, like Kansas, where only 0.12% of the population is Muslim, which is around like 3,500 something. These demographics highlights the critical role that community supports and inclusive practices play in creating welcoming environments for students. So what's the solution? So to combat discrimination, to help reduce discrimination, universities could implement programs focused on cultural awareness and anti-discrimination training. Workshops and discussion on religious and cultural sensitivity can help students and staff understand different backgrounds, which can replace judgment and improve interaction on campus. School could also establish clear reporting channels to help students report incidents safely.
Moving ahead, let's talk about the discrimination faced by Muslim women. So Muslim women face unique challenges due to the visible religious attire. Around 41.4% expressed that they feel uncomfortable wearing hijab, sharing experiences of being stared at or mocked at, or even some were harassed. One student shared with us that she couldn't even join sports in high school due to uniform requirements. These experiences show the specific ways Muslim women experience discrimination, highlighting the needs of policies that respect religious expression and offer equal opportunities. So these are some of the responses that we got in our survey from various Muslim students. These are some more of them. So now we have talked about the challenges and everything. So now it's time for the table to turn. Now let's focus on a question. What can we as Muslims contribute to this nation? How can our presence enhance American society? So we found out that 73.7% of Muslim students are interested in community and social service. Their motivation to contribute reflects their commitment to societal progression and inclusion. Moving ahead, this was a question from our survey. We asked, do you believe that as a Muslim, you bring valuable cultural diversity to the American society? And the responses that we receive shows that majority of Muslim students feel that they bring valuable cultural diversity to American society, with 55.3% strongly agreeing and 34.9% agreeing. However, some face harassment which stops them from fully sharing their culture. By supporting and valuing cultural diversity, campuses can encourage students to share their heritage openly.
Then we asked a question like, how confident are you as a Muslim that you will be accepted and be a positive contributor to American society? So confidence in being accepted as a positive contributor, it varied. While 57.9% of students feel confident about being valued contributors to campus life, 29.6% feel neutral and 11.8% feel uncertain. Feeling accepted helps students participate more, and it adds a vibrant campus culture. For those who feel unsure, this lack of confidence can affect their involvement, showing why making inclusivity is so important.
Moving ahead to our next question from our survey, with your expertise and academic background, do you envision as a Muslim you will be able to contribute to the development and progress of the US? So the Muslim students are generally optimistic about their abilities to contribute to US development, with 82.9% feeling positive about their role. The confidence is very essential as it gives them a sense of purpose. When students feel they can make meaningful contributions, they are more likely to pursue academic and career goals, benefiting both them and the wider society.
So we might think everyone might think why are we talking about this? So adding cultural and Islamic elements on campus, it isn't just about religion or tradition. It's about creating an environment where every student feel they are belong and they are valued. When we make space for diverse perspectives, we strengthen the campus community as whole. Our survey shows that 86.8% of Muslim students believe that incorporating all these elements could greatly enhance their contribution to American society. It's important because when students feel seen and respected, they're empowered to share their values and insight openly, which enriches the college experience for all these students from different backgrounds. So why does this matter? Because an inclusive campus, it fosters respect, empathy, and connection, values that benefit both students and society. It allows students from different backgrounds to engage with and learn from one another, breaking down stereotypes and building understanding. Celebrating diversity in all its forms, including cultural and religious, ensures that students can engage in a campus life without having to leave behind essential parts of who they are without leaving their identity.
Now, to summarize our presentation or our research, I would like to pose a question. What does inclusivity mean? And what does Muslim inclusivity on campus look like? Now, the answer to these questions can be very different for each one of us. For me, personally, inclusivity on campus would mean having a halal food joint on campus or having the accommodation of Muslim holidays. What does inclusivity look for you, Atif?
For me, inclusivity means being embraced by a welcoming community that lets me belong without changing who I am, without changing my identity. And I'm so deeply grateful for the Arizona community, the ICC, MSA, IMS, and CME, and all the other organizations that makes us feel truly at home. They make us feel like we are part of something bigger without ever asking us to lose our identity. That's what inclusivity means to me.
Exactly my point. So, as I said, inclusivity can have different shapes for each one of us. So to answer these questions, inclusivity means creating an environment where everyone feels valued, respected, welcomed, regardless of their background, identity, or beliefs. It's more than just diversity. It's about actively fostering a space where each person can bring their authentic self without the fear of discrimination or exclusion. The point that we are trying to make here is inclusion is essential on college campuses because it directly affects students' well-being, sense of belonging, and overall academic performance. When students feel included, they are more likely to engage with their peers, contribute ideas in class, participate in campus activities. This diverse engagement enriches the learning environment of everyone, promoting a broader exchange of perspective, cultural awareness, innovative thinking, mutual respect, empathy, and creating a campus culture where everyone has the freedom and support to reach their full potentials. So thank you so much everyone for your patient listening.
So we can have this discussion. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Atif and Mahena, for sharing with us your research findings. I am always intrigued by this concept of inclusion, right? We talk about it so much the past few decades. The concept of inclusion has transformed so much. And the question of Muslims and where do we stand and where do we fit in is a common question among Muslims, American society. And so this research is so important. So thank you so much. Let me take a seat. Would you like to? Yes, thank you. So you went into this research with research questions, right? You wanted to know something particular about. Okay. You want to know something particular about inclusion, about Muslims and their experiences on college and university campuses. What did you expect to find? And then what did your research show that surprised you? Or perhaps what did your research show that validated your conceptions about Muslim inclusion?
So something which I would say is that I felt like many people after coming, like for me, like I come from India, I came here US to study, to do my master's. So I felt like many people who come to US, their religious experiences, it gets low and lower day by day. But what I found is that after coming to US, many people became more religious, and that's something even like there are many American universities who's like more Muslim friendly. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So to answer your question, Khushbu, my response will be that when I came to ASU, I didn't know the concept of Muslim chaplain exists, and I found out that we have a Muslim chaplain on campus at ASU, and I was really happy about that. That it's a really good thing. You know, it makes us feel like the feeling of belonging is there. And from a survey, what I found out was that a large percent of the people were not even sure that something like that exists. So that was quite shocking for me.
Okay. So coming from India, the concept of a chaplain in a university is not, common. But here, there is a chaplain, and students have access to a chaplain. And so what are some recommendations you have of letting students know that they do have access to this chaplain? Because it seems like that's a way that increases their sentiments of inclusion and their feelings of inclusion on campus.
Yeah, so I feel like a college should take a step on this, and they should do more awareness of what are the things they provide, like chaplain, prayer area, like the events, the organizations like MSA, CME. I think the college should like take a step up and do awareness on this, because like I have seen many students in ASU who still don't know there is a prayer area in campus. They don't know anything about the organization and everything. So yeah, that's something to do.
Okay. That's a good recommendation. When you were developing the research questions, their students were experiencing world events at the same time, right? Many things were unraveling globally. As researchers, are there any questions you would add perhaps to your research to capture that experience of students changing over the course of the past few months? And what would those questions be?
I would just ask them that have they faced any difference of experience or any increased, being judged upon, or some comments passed on them during all these events have been happening.
And we now have your research findings. What other questions would you ask? How would you further your research? What are some gaps that you're seeing? What next?
Yeah, so for that, I guess the part of Muslim students is done as part of our research. Now, what would be exciting to know further into this would be how the American society see us as Muslims, and like what are their experiences with other Muslims that they have had. And I also would like to add one question into this student survey, if I might will, that how often do they try to connect with other American society people to tell them what Islam actually is and to invite them over and let them have a taste of our culture and religion.
Great. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and then we will open it to the audience. Are Muslim colleges, are U.S. colleges and universities Muslim friendly?
I would say that US colleges are Muslim friendly when compared to other countries and everything. So US colleges, they are providing many resources like a prayer room, a chaplain, everything, because in India we don't have all those resources. So I feel that it depends on the countries, but here in USA, colleges are Muslim friendly, but they need to like have more awareness. They need to do more awareness to avoid the discrimination and other type of things. So I would say like, yeah, it depends. But they can still improve so that we can have a more inclusive of all the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. It's good to know that Muslims do feel included. That's definitely very validating. And it's also good to know what are some steps that we can take for Muslims to feel more included. At this point, we would love to hear from the audience as well, and perhaps explore some of these questions. If you are a Muslim, we'd love to hear. If not, yes.
I have a question to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you said that the college has the responsibility
to you were more to the student that they have these facilities. But as a Muslim student association, it is not association, right?
Association.
Association?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What is your part? Like how you can get involved on this?
Yeah, in our part is that, so I'm the Vice President for Muslim Student Association. So what we do is that we organize events which brings all the Muslim students together, like halakas, social events, and we organize many like day trips and everything. So that's something we are doing. We are just making to make college campuses more inclusive for Muslim students. We don't want to make them feel left out. We try to make them more like, even in campus, we want them to like hold their Islamic values. So that's something MSA does. That's something all the Muslim Student Association at campus does.
And
Yeah.
how do you reach to the student? Like,
So-
I know who are involved, you send them the message.
Yeah.
But do you reach to other like faculties or other association that if you have a Muslim, let
Yeah.
them know that we are having this?
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, like we reach out to other organization because we don't have the access of the students who are coming for semester. We don't have all the details and contacts. So what we do is that we organize events collaborating with other Muslim organizations, and we just do like tabling in college campus saying that, hey, we are MSA, what we do, here's what we do, here's what are the events we organize. So that's something we do. So that's how we can reach, because we don't, like I said, we don't have the access of all the students who's coming to campus. Yeah.
But say connected to that question, MSA is a Muslim Student Association working for Islamic
Yeah.
cultural awareness and Islamic cultural promotion. We are, say, interested in Muslims, just people, not religion. How do you, as students, see your role as helping other students coming from other parts of the world to feel a sense of inclusion at ASU? Forget religion, keep religion out of it, but other ways in which you are creating community among yourselves and overcoming these barriers of, I'm an Indian student, I'm a Bangladeshi, I'm a Nigerian or Sudanese or Palestinian student. How do you overcome that? Do you overcome it?
So like, so like, other than Islamic thing, we usually do is that all these social events, I would say, that helps us to like, it's not about Islamic, but coming together, having that talk with each other. I would say like masjid is a great place. I know it's an Islamic thing, but in masjid we can come together. It doesn't depend who is he. He's a Bengali, he's American or everything. So we come together and we have food together. We go outside together. We go for a hike together. So that's something we usually do, like connect with other people from different backgrounds, learn more about their backgrounds, where they come from, their stories. So yeah, that's how we connect with each other. Other than Islamic thing, I would say.
To add on that, we all students are here for professional development and for our academics. So what through IMSN we did, Indian Muslim Students Network, we did was we organized a professional development workshop to bring everyone together. It was not just for Indian Muslims, it was all the Muslims or even the non-Muslim people here.
I have a question. How does your so I'm asking this question in context of your mentioning of Indian Muslim Students Network.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does your experience of being a minority in India, your educational experience, and then coming to America, and then again remaining a minority here, another religious minority in another context, right? Are there any similarities, or is that a different experience for both of you? Also, in one of the slides you mentioned that the colleges should include more Islamic teachings or something. I don't exactly remember, but one of the slides said that, right? So, what do you exactly mean by that? I mean, because there's this entire debate about the characters of schools, like what schools or colleges or universities should be doing, right? And so the whole philosophy of teaching, liberal arts and sciences and all that, right? So I mean, if you could go back to that slide and explain more, and if you could tell us a little bit more about how did you collect this data? Like, how did you go about like contacting all these people who responded to your questionnaires, etc.? So that would be great if we have enough time for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. So my experience coming from a minority back in India to here another time, being a religious minority here, I feel more comfortable saying out loud that I'm a Muslim here. I feel more comfortable here in the US practicing my religion as I felt back in India. And I guess in India, there's another story that the situation has deteriorated from the past 10 to 11 years. But yeah, that was my answer to your first question. And your third question was how we took this data, how we reached out to people. So first we made our survey, and then we reached out to different MSCs, and we reached out to them through emails and Instagram as well. And also we reached out to the MSC National, I guess, and all those associations.
So for me, like my experiences was different. Like compared to India, here I feel like I can follow my religion more easily, and I can pray anywhere here, and we have the freedom of speech. But India, I couldn't like pray anywhere where I want, and even during classes, I couldn't go out and just pray. We couldn't even pray for Jummah and all those prayer. And yeah. So what was your second question again?
So that slide that talks about.
Yeah, like what we were mentioning is the awareness which college could do, like all the about Islam, what Islam really is, all the all those things, those kind of awareness to prevent discrimination. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure.
Let me follow up. I actually have many questions, but I'll start. I'll keep them short. Following up on that. And I know this wasn't part of your survey, I don't think, but just on your own reflection, do you think programs, say in Islamic studies or Muslim world studies, that is degree offering programs that actually where there are courses taught, does that help you as a Muslim student to sort of see yourself in the university? What role do such programs have? Might be an interesting question. Okay. And I have completely different questions, so I'll let you answer that one first.
I guess I'm not sure that whether do we have such programs here at ASU or not, but if we had such programs, it will be really good as a Muslim student, seeing from the other side of the stage. But it will be only good if there are some non-Muslim students who are taking up that course and they are knowing Islam much better.
So I actually met someone, a non-Muslim yesterday, and he was telling me like he takes some Islamic courses. So I think that's a great thing, ASU providing Islamic courses, teaching about Islam to non-Muslims and everyone. So yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Another question I had was just one of the questions you had was the barriers, right? And I'm just kind of curious, as two international students, what do you perceive as the major barriers of inclusivity at university, or even generally in American society, not just for you as Muslims, but perhaps you as Indians, perhaps you as brown, perhaps, or even as it might associate to other minoritized communities? Just perceptions or experiences that you may have. Just
So to answer that question, as I said before, my experiences have been really good here in the US. But the barrier that I would feel sometimes about religious clothing, like I'm not dressed religiously, but I'm just wearing a suit. It's more of a cultural dressing of India than a religious one. But still, sometimes there are people just staring at me, and like some of the Indians only, they ask me, how comfortable do you feel wearing a suit in your college? I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. That question doesn't even strike my mind, because I don't think that way. This is something I'm comfortable in, and I should have the freedom to express that. So that is one of the barrier, the outlook of a person. People usually judge according to that. And another barrier I would say is it's not a barrier anymore because now I know there are religious observance places on campus, but first I wasn't aware of that we had a place at MU. But still I feel that there should be more of religious observance places because it's just, like on the whole campus, it's just one place at AMU. So there should be more of that.
There is one more in Hayden.
Hayden.
Oh, thank you so much. I came to know another
And
one.
even you have a personal room there.
Yeah.
Like it's one room,
Yeah.
and inside they have cubes made, so you
Okay.
can pray there by yourself, closing the door.
Okay,
It's
that's
a
really good to
meditation
know.
room.
So,
it's not
yeah.
only for Muslim, but
Mhm.
mostly Muslim students are praying there.
Yeah,
So
thank
yeah,
you so
so
much.
this is the college awareness we were talking about. Like, she doesn't know like there is a prayer area. So yeah.
But I have another question, which is a completely disciplinary question. Okay? Both of you are from
India.
computer science and electrical engineering. So you come from completely different background as far as doing research on something so qualitative and cultural in this. So what was your experience in doing something completely out of your field and learning to, do oral history with some of your colleagues? So would like to know more about that also. What was, what the shifts that you had to do, and would you like to pursue more of this kind of research that allows you to have relationship with people rather than machines?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that question, Dr. Saikia. So that other day, we were just talking about putting this research up on our LinkedIn and everything. So Atif was saying that, yeah, I can do that because he uses some data analytics tools and something like that, which are really helpful in the computer science. So he asked me, how does this relate to your field, which is electrical? So just to be clear, this is on each and every aspect, it's not related to electrical at all. I couldn't find any of the points there. So my experience in seeing from that point of view was really great because I felt like these are general life-to-life, day-to-day issues, right? And to just know the fact that someone is really studying them and whose people are there who are taking care of all these points and spending time on all these issues and rectifying the issues as well. That is really, I was really impressed by that. And I would really like to dive into this much further.
Yeah. For me, it actually, like Shima said, kindly aligns with my professional, because I'm studying data analyst. So, data, learning about all the surveys, what are the problems they have faced, that's something which is similar to me. So, like you mentioned, it's something different to learn more about the people, what are the problems they are facing. Like, we might face some problem, but their problem might be different than us. So, to see from different point of view, different perspective, it was really fun actually for me. And some of the things we might assume, like I said, I felt like people coming to US, they will be less religious. But what I have found out with this survey is that many people after coming here, they become more religious. So that's one of the things which I found. And yeah, so I would love to do more research on this. Yeah.
Dr. Saikia actually touches upon something. You both have an engineering background. And interdisciplinary studies is becoming popular now. And this is a really great example of this.
Mm-hmm.
From what you've learned from this, what could you take to the engineering world? Are there any elements from the research that you've conducted here that could inform your work as engineers, qualitatively even?
I feel like in engineering in companies, I think companies should also be more inclusive, because that's also something we can do research on future. Because I know few of my friends who got rejected just because of his religious identity, and just because he was a Muslim. So yeah, so I feel like bringing this research on companies and asking them to be also more inclusive, Muslim, not even for Muslims, I'm saying for all the different religious backgrounds from different communities, that's something we can bring into engineering, and more data analysis on this.
So just to add up, when I took all this back and reflected upon my engineering career and everything, so I felt that my professors were really accommodating. One of my professor even emailed all the Muslim students in the class during Ramadan that whether they want to postpone the exams or not, are they comfortable with that? And one other professor asked us in the class, are we fine with the assignments scheduling or not? And other than that, I'm a part of another it's another student chapter, IEEES, Power Energy Society at ASU. And when they organize social events, they have a halal menu, so they take care of the accommodations that they're providing to Muslims.
Thank you so much for sharing your research. I've learned a lot from just listening to you guys and your experience and your ideas as well. So perhaps my question is more, it doesn't necessitate an immediate answer, perhaps like some things that we need to reflect on. So do Muslim students have to defend their belonging and perhaps even their existence in university campuses by citing their contribution, right? We bring diversity into this place, whether it's diversity of identity or diversity of ideas. And it's being just a student, a privilege not extended to Muslim students. And how does this become burdensome, right? Having to continuously defend who you are as a person, defend your identity in the classroom, outside the classroom. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. That's a really good question, and honestly, that's not something that I have thinked upon yet. But now I feel that you have a point here. It might be really burdensome for us to validate our existence just by saying that this is what we can provide, this is what we can provide, so give us these services. I get what you're saying, but I would really take some time and look into it and think about it further.
I have one more question. I mean, because I haven't seen at your surveys or anything, does your research in future or this research, did it address what particular nationalities within Muslim communities, what challenges did they face on campus? And did your research also include, let's say, for example, Hispanic Muslims or American Muslims? Were they included? Were they part of this research? Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess Atif mentioned that in the first slide, the demographics of our research. So we have had people answering the survey questions from various nationalities. We had Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Indians, and even Americans. I'm not sure about the Hispanic Muslims particularly, but yeah, there were various nationalities covered.
Like she said, like there's so many American Muslims who did this survey, but I don't think there is Hispanic. But yeah, we have so many communities who did the survey.
But like, do you see there are different sets of challenges which are faced by different communities, different nationalities?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the people from some of the responses that they were coming from the people from Bangladesh, so they found it hard to practice their religion and everything in the US as compared to Bangladesh, because obviously that's a Muslim majority country, and same goes for the people who are coming from Pakistan as well. So yeah, so there was a funny response in our survey. There was a guy who was saying, come to Bangladesh, the Muslims are very safe over there.
Hi, thank you Mahena and Muhammad for your presentation. So I was a student about like a year, 2 years ago. I graduated. So when I was at ASU, for the most part, Muslim students, like our group of friends were like American-born Muslims, and we didn't really have much of like international students, I guess, join in. Maybe for some reason, we didn't flock in the same like crowds. So is that still like an issue? And do you maybe even face like discrimination from American-born Muslims because you were born internationally? So those are like my questions.
Yeah, so my last research was on Indian Muslims, and during that research we found like some Indian Muslims, they felt like they were left out from the American-born Muslims, like the international students I'm talking about, they felt like they were left out from the American-born Muslims. So that's the main reason why we started Indian Muslim Student Association. So to bring to give a platform for Indian Muslims. So that's something we found through the surveys. Like, yeah.
Can you elaborate a little? Can you elaborate a little? What does it mean to be an international Muslim student versus American-born Muslim students? What are your experiences?
I guess the challenges are like really a lot, because like firstly, coming as an international Indian Muslim student, we are not aware of how the society works here, how the things run here on campus or outside of the campus or anything. And the Muslims who are born over here, they are very comfortable. They don't even see certain issues as issues which we see them as. They know all the halal food joints, they have conveyance from which they can go to various different places which are at a farther distance from the campus. But we as students, we can't. We can't even afford to have a cab which pays around $25 to $30 for that. So that is one of the thing that I would feel that comes into play. And other than that, I guess I would just share my experience when I went to the MSA field trip, which was last year. So there were some American-born female students over there, and me and my friend, who's also an international student, we went over there and just greeted them very warmly and wanted to talk to them, just make friends with them. But like very sadly, they were not that welcoming. We didn't find them that welcoming, and just after our introductions, they just went ahead with their conversations. So yeah, I have not yet made any Muslim American-born friend. So I guess that says a lot about that.
Yeah. So I need to add something other. I think the main reason because of this that there's some cultural difference between both of us. So like they like basketball, we like cricket. So those cultural difference, like if I'm talking with them, I don't know anything about basketball and they don't know anything about cricket. So there's not a proper connection between both of us. Like they watch Hollywood, we watch Bollywood. So yeah.
In that aspect, I would say the familiarity in female American Muslims and female Indian Muslims would be the Pakistani dramas. They unite us.
I had one question, but now when he brought that up, I have two questions. The first one is, I feel like there's this kind of disconnect between American-born Muslims and people who are coming from elsewhere. We can feel that in MSA gatherings, like she mentioned. So, based on your surveys and experiences, what are some things maybe international students or American-born students can do to kind of bridge that gap? Let's say we have a lot of common scholars that now when you get to the US you listen to, and they also listen to them. So maybe that's one, point of intersection. And then the other question was, in your survey, did you interview people who are also reverts to Islam? And what was their experience versus people who are born in Islam? Just curious. Thanks.
Thank you for your questions. To answer your first question, what I feel we can do is we can, like what we were planning also as well, we can plan some, being a part of IMSN, and he is the part of IMSN and MSA as well, we can plan some collaborative events where both of the American-born Muslims and the Muslims from various different nations come together and just connect and, form a network there. And regarding your second question, I'm afraid that was out of the scope of our survey.
Yeah. So regarding first question, I would say like we faced this issue for MSA. So what we came up with, like she mentioned, like we decided to do collaboration with other student association, like Sudani Student Association, Pakistani Student Association, Bangladesh. So that's, by that way we can bring all the different communities together, and we can say like what MSA is and how we can help each other. And the other thing I would say is food. So what we did is that during our events, like one event we had like Indian food, and so all the Indian people came, and the other event we had some like Sudani food. So that's also some things we did to bring every student. Yeah.
Food always unites the hearts and is a great way to break barriers at all times. We are so grateful for all of the questions that you had. It is 4:30. We are grateful to you, Atif, and you, Mahena, for conducting this research and for giving us so many questions now to think about on this topic of inclusion. Thank you to Dr. Sakia and Dr. Chad for being such great mentors to Atif and Mahena throughout the research process. We now have some certificates. I'm going to give the mic to Dr. Chad.
Thank you, Khushbu, for organizing this and mentoring the student, Atif and Mahena along the way. And I just want to emphasize again, for those of you who are students at ASU, we're still conducting research. We'd love to have you sort of join us at the center and volunteer to do some research similar to this or other types of projects. So please get in touch with Khushbu and we can hopefully arrange that. So I strongly encourage you to do that. As I said, this has been an exciting opportunity for us to have students sort of do these research and sort of get their perspective on sort of things as well as learn through this process. And it's been a very rich sort of 2 years of having research fellows. And so I really want to emphasize that this program is actually, it's not just enriching for you to research, to learn kind of thing, but also for us at the center to sort of share this thing, but for the larger community once we get this out. As I said, these reports, the dean, the associate provost for inclusion have all asked us for these reports, so inshallah, they'll actually have impact as well, okay? So both to Atif and Mahena, who've done an amazing job. As you said, this isn't their original research fields, so they've stepped out. They've really transcended the borders and boundaries, the silos, if you will, of disciplinary sort of backgrounds to do this research. It's been very rich, and so I want to congratulate them. So on behalf of the Center of Muslim Experience, I'd like to share some opportunities. So first, Mahena, I'd like to welcome you, and again, thank you very much for this opportunity. If you can open this, and thank you. Okay, yes. And Atif as well, thank you. This is your second sort of research project with CME, so you, okay. So congratulations, and thank all of you for coming this evening and taking time out of your Friday afternoon to be here and listen to this. I hope some of this has impact for you. As I said, I invite you to be part of the center. If you're not already on our mailing list, please sign up over here on the table. And if you have any questions about the work we're doing, please, Khushbu. There's also, Jamil is also working with the center as an ASU alum. He's doing some research for us. You also have Atif and Mahena, who've been working with us for some time. So please share your questions, your comments, your feedback, anything. There is pizza. So please help yourselves, and thank you very much.